Good morning, everybody. Mark Finan here in the home weather office on this Monday morning. It is the 19th day of February 2024. This is the morning briefing on what is going to be a busy weather day here in Northern California. Now, as I look out the window of the home weather office this morning, it's sunny. Well, there's some clouds and it's a little breezy, but yeah, it is dry. The Sacramento area last night picked up about 1.5 inches of rain. There are some areas that saw a little bit less. There are some foothill spots that are up around 1.75 inches. But many areas did see some heavy downpours last night. You may have even heard some rumbles of thunder and seen some flashes of lightning. So that was that first band that went through. Now, first thing in the morning, we're into a dry slot. Sun's coming out, starting to heat up the surface, and that means later on today we do have the possibility of severe weather, thunderstorms, hail, gusty winds, and yes, the possibility of a tornado. So, like I said, a lot to get through during the course of the day today. Here's what's going on this morning. Now, this is the satellite. I've chosen a different wavelength here on the satellite because I wanted to point out a couple of things. Here's the band of rain that went through last night, now making its way on out to the east. Behind it, you see the circulation out here around the low will continue to bring cool air and moisture our way. So the temperatures aloft, let's say up around 18 to 20,000 feet, they are continuing to cool. And that means as colder air comes in, we'll be destabilizing the atmosphere as we go through the day. The combination of colder air aloft as well as surface heating is going to help to destabilize the atmosphere. And you see these little discrete cells here that pop up. There'll be more of that. As little waves like this one make their way inland during the course of the day today, we will see these little discrete cells pop up in the valley. Now, because of that, just like we were talking about yesterday, the Storm Prediction Center has put the Central Valley into the slight category for severe weather. And if you look at the individual parameters, tornado, we have a 5% hatched area in the valley, a wider area with 2% that includes the delta, wind at 5%, and hail at 5%. I know 5% doesn't sound like very much, but we don't often get a 5% area in Northern California. And the scale really only goes up to about, it does go up to 60%, but you rarely see that. But 5% is relatively significant for our area. Let's show you a couple of models. I'm going to show you start off with the HRRR. Picking it up this morning. So here's the dry slot that we are in right now. And as we go through the morning hours and toward the middle part of the day, cells start popping up. Now this model has some in Butte County, down toward Placer County, and then as we get into the afternoon, more of these discrete cells pop up, like here. These would have brief heavy downpours. This is 3 o'clock in the afternoon. This would be from, let's say, Roseville through Lincoln, as well as into the San Joaquin Valley. And even after sundown, now this is around 5 o'clock in the evening, as we get into tonight, we will still see bands of rain. However, they may not have the thunderstorm potential that we'll see this afternoon. But we are going to continue to see bands of rain. And if some of these bands become stationary, like this band right here, watch how that just kind of stays over the same area. The other concern that I have today is that after the rain we've had last night, there's already been street flooding this morning, and Deer Creek is flooding, that if we continue to see downpours like this over one area, we may exacerbate that flooding, more street flooding, and the possibility of more creek flooding. So it's that kind of motion that I'm worried about, what we call this training convection. In other words, you see these areas of heavy rain just continue to develop and produce rain over one area or one line that, let's say in this case, would run from Auburn down to the Delta, which would mean that for areas like Lodi or Elk Grove or Roseville, you could be seeing a lot of rain. Not saying that that's exactly what's going to happen, but that's one of the concerns that we have for today. That's the way the HRRR shows it. I'm going to show you the NAM-NEST, the other high-resolution model that we look at. This is around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Same sort of thing, showing more discrete cells popping up, and then more of them as we head into the afternoon and evening. Any one of these could produce a funnel cloud, a tornado, something like that. And this one also shows the rain continuing into the night with the possibility, see that line right there? That's early Tuesday morning, and you see how the rain just kind of stays concentrated in one area. That's one of my concerns. And then as we head into the day Tuesday, we'll still see rain, but it won't be as convective as what we're looking at today. So I'm going to show you another thing that we look at here with the NAM nest and the other models. And this is stability. Now this is instability rather, or stability. Showing you just how unstable the air is. Now this is a surface from the surface, and what we look at is something called CAPE, convective available potential energy. Tough for me to think of early in the morning. The higher the number, the greater the instability, and it's the top number that I'm looking at here. So you're up around 700-800, and then a couple of spots that go up over 1,000, and these are big numbers for our area. Usually anything over about 500 is good enough for us to see thunderstorms. You know, if you're talking in the Midwest, you're talking, let me scoot this up and you'll see the scale down here at the bottom. So we're down here in this range on the scale. If you're talking Oklahoma, Nebraska during the summertime, you're way up here on the scale. So, but these are big numbers for us. And what we can derive from that is the model will give you a profile of the way the atmosphere is going to look. Now, one of the things that the models tend to underdo here in the valley is the way that the winds will turn with height. So right here, it shows mostly a southerly wind, but it may be more of a southeasterly wind. Just because of the way the valley is configured, we usually see more of a southeasterly wind. So what you'll have here is a wind coming down here at the surface from this direction, and then gradually turn to the southwest as it goes aloft. So here you have a parcel that'll be lifted aloft. That's the instability, so it's the ability to lift parcels from the surface, carrying the moisture with it. So you have much colder air here, much warmer air here. Warm air rises till it cools, and you get convection going on. And as that parcel is being lifted, it is twisting. So in other words, it's starting from the southeast, and before you know it, it's moving from the southwest. That's described here, shown in what's called a hodograph, the way the parcel may be lifted. And as you can see down here in the potential hazard type, it does come up with tornado. One note about tornadoes here in Northern California. As I mentioned in yesterday's chat, they are not rare. California sees 10 to 15 a year. Most favorable spots are the Central Valley as well as the Los Angeles Basin. Usually our tornadoes are EF0 to EF1. Just because they're on the low end of the scale doesn't mean they are not damaging and shouldn't be taken seriously. We don't get the big monster ones that they have back in the Midwest that tear homes apart and rip them off their foundations. But what we do see are things like fences down, limbs down, flying debris. We've seen roof tiles come off of houses. Those roof tiles then become airborne and can obviously do damage as they are flying through the air and come down. So that's the sort of thing that we have to be on the lookout for during the course of the day today. And you should, during the course of the day today, be well aware of your surroundings and have ways to receive warnings. If there are tornado warnings come out for your area and you get an alert for your area, things we want you to do is to get inside, stay away from windows, especially south and west facing windows, and try to find yourself in an interior space. That way, if roof tiles from your neighbor's house suddenly come flying through your window, you're safe because you're in an interior room and you're away from those windows. If you do happen to be out, keep your eye on the sky, be aware of warnings that do come up, and try to get yourself to a safe space as quickly as you can. So those are the things that we have to be on the lookout for today. And the other thing, as I mentioned, as we head through the afternoon and evening, with the possibility of more of these sustained bands of rain coming through the area, we're going to have to be on the lookout for more the possibility of roadway flooding and maybe some creeks flooding as well. Deer Creek is already flooding this morning. And so after we get past sunset tonight, please be aware on any rural roads. We've seen a lot of roadway flooding in Yolo County today. That after dark, it's very difficult to see if a road is covered in water. So if it's after dark tonight and it's been raining heavily in your area and you're traveling down a road that you haven't been down during the last 12 hours, do keep in mind that there may be standing water on those roadways if we do see more bands of heavy rain. So like I said, it is going to be a busy weather day. We'll be covering it from television. Of course, I'll be on TV at 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, and 11, but I have a feeling I may be on TV more than that during the course of the day today, as we do have the possibility of some warnings coming out. And as soon as the warning comes on, we will be on television. So we'll be having ways to get you information you need as these situations potentially develop this afternoon. So that's everything I've got for you this morning. Be safe out there. Make it a great day. I'll talk with you later.